Greetings fans, hyperfans and people just lost looking for videos of cats on YouTube. We have here Nightshade from Transformers Earthspark, who is an absolutely amazing toy, and I'm not going to review them because this toy has been out most places for an absolute age, but in the UK distribution of them has been dreadful. So I did manage to finally get this off of Amazon at an okay price, and I've really enjoyed fiddling with it, transforming them. The only thing that I have not been very keen on is this exceptionally wide silhouette in robot mode. I took a couple of photos where I took the wings off and put them in different positions, and I asked on Twitter where people thought they should go if there was more engineering, and of the three options I put up, this one seemed to be the most popular, and to a certain extent it's kind of the easiest, because really all you need the wing to do is to have an additional joint there in a manner that can be folded all the way around. That's not too difficult to do. What we really have is this section here, which folds out, which stands in the way, a little bit of a curve on that, and then if I take their blade out, just a little bit of a slit in there so that that can go over of its own accord. So first couple, very easy. If I just take off the other wing, we're just going to take a little file and take that corner off. Forgive me from filming at this angle. My main workbench is covered in minis being painted, and I'm doing my best to catch this on camera. This one I've already done, so I can just pop the two together. And keep filing until I have a nice round edge on the back one to match the front, until we get it so that it can pop into the existing hole and turn pretty freely. It's not going to turn all the way because we've still got this piece to bring down, but next let's do this channel at the top. Again, because this is quite soft plastic, what I'm going to do is take a craft knife, making sure that I'm not going to lose fingers. I'm basically just chopping out the middle third of this, keeping those lines as straight as possible. Maybe a little bit more. So then when you put it back on, you can just push that up and around the existing peg. Okay, so that's two things done. Now the next piece, you're actually going to need to start working on Nightshade themselves, because this raised piece here, we need to kind of take down to the same level as the clip, although that's quite difficult because the inside is hollow. So we'll have to see what we can do. To start with, we're going to work out where we want that line to go. So just holding that over there, you see making the line basically to the edge there. I'm going to grab something sharp and just score along there, because none of my pens are going to show up particularly well. So I'm probably not doing this at the safest of angles, but if you're not doing it on camera, you can do it a lot safer. So you can just about see that, and so I'm going to take that completely off, just popping it off at the ball joint, because then I can start sanding that without really worrying about hitting the rest of the figure. Now I'm holding one thumb against that line, and I'm keeping the face of the file as flat as I can, and it's cutting through it pretty quickly. Just keeping some pressure on it. Only going in one direction at the moment, so that I'm keeping it very tight to that line that I put, but also I'm being quite careful because I don't want to go all the way through the plastics, and just take it down as far as I safely can. And there we go, that's pretty much at that level. So now if I take, let's see which one is it, this one, put it in, can go up all the way, and it will rotate all the way around. I'm going to take a couple of moments to neaten that up a little bit, and then I will do the same on the other side. Okay, so we now have those pretty equal, and you can see you are going to get covered in little green plastic shavings. So we now have the wing that will break all the way up, a wing that will break here and clip into place, and you can kind of stop there, but I would like this to be a proper hinge, and there's a few ways to do that. Now the absolute easiest way would be to take like a drawing pin and just push it into there to cap it, and if I was sensible, that's probably what I would do. But I have a little container full of machine screws, and basically anytime I take a toy apart, I put them to one side. I bought a whole bunch of little screws for when I did the upgrade kit for Overlord. Basically, I'm looking for a screw that will go into here and give me a permanent turning point. Really, all you want is something that goes through there and has a head bigger than the hole. That would be the easy way of doing it. But nothing that I've got is that perfect. So I'm going to do it slightly differently, which is I'm going to be using these little black hard drive screws, which fit into the hole pretty perfectly, and just stick out a little bit on the other side. But once I countersink these, I should be able to actually kind of drill into the wing and secure it properly. So I'm going to need a little drill. So little drill, little cordless screwdriver. Actually, I'll put a link to that in my description because this has been so useful for me. And what we are going to do is we are going to cut this nub off, mark the center, drill that, countersink the hole, and we're just going to do that with friction rather than a specific countersinker, because on plastic you almost want to melt stuff rather than scrape it out, because you actually get a much cleaner edge. So for example, This is just a crosshead screwdriver, which I am going to be using as a spoon bit. And just that little bit there means that now fits flush. Sitting flush, giving me about 3mm to actually hold into the wing. Now I'm just going to use where I have cut that to show where I need my screw to go in. I'm just going to keep cutting through what I can see as the middle of that until eventually, let's see if I can zoom in, there will be enough marked that I'm happy that that is going to be the center. And now taking a drill bit which is narrower than my screw, let me zoom back out. I'm going to line that up. Just start the hole, don't want to go all the way through. Just enough that with everything clipped into place, I can put some pressure in with the screwdriver and just screw that in. I'm then going to put some super glue in there just to act as thread lock. Just for full disclosure, I did drill all the way through to the end. This is the smallest, cheapest thing of super glue that I can find, with a hypodermic needle on the far end of it, which means I've got super control and I can just put a tiny little dot of that in and then line up my existing wing, put the screw into this nice countersunk hole that I've done, and screw that in. Now that's taking the super glue through the hole I've drilled, and yeah, sticking my finger to the other side. Now, having done it that way, I'm going to have to basically keep this moving probably like every second for a minute, and then just go in and move it every 10 seconds for a minute, and then every 30, until I'm absolutely sure that the glue has set. But that's really neat. That looks pretty much like the wing as it came off of Nightshade, but it breaks and it goes all the way down. Let's pop these back onto their shoulders, making sure that they do get it the right way around. And there we have it, this really secure joint. And if you do not want them to have that super huge silhouette, there we have it. Now all I've got to do is keep that moving while the glue dries and tidy up all this green dust. Anyway, if you manage to find this figure, and they are an absolutely fantastic toy, feel free to follow this guide. Be aware that you do so at your own risk, and if you glue your fingers to the toy permanently, at least you'll never lose it. But thank you for joining me doing this little bit of modification. If you want to see more things like this, just leave a comment below. I would say like and subscribe, but I don't know how often I'm going to be doing videos. But in the vague chance that I may, I will see you next time, and until then, if you're keeping the mint in package, you're not a toy collector, you're a box collector.
Nice!